day I could afford a Marshall amp, I brought it into my apartment on the Upper West Side, and I opened the windows, and I turned it up to 10 and spent about an hour blasting away. And I heard the door knock. I thought it was the cops, and it was a woman covered in sweat. She said, "Do you have any idea how loud that is?" And I went, "No." She says, "I'm working on my PhD and I can't concentrate." And I said, "What apartment are you?" She says, "What apartment?" I'm on 87th and Columbus Avenue. That's 4 blocks away from my house. And I said, "You heard me on 87th and Columbus?" And then I slammed the door in her face and she called the police.
Well, I think it's true to say that the heaviness in all heavy metal groups generally comes from what the guitars are doing.
When you hit a power chord through a stack, that sound makes you do things you wouldn't normally do. As soon as you plug it in, it's like you're just plugging into the devil itself.
La guitarra siempre ha sido el arma seleccionada del heavy metal, y guitarristas como Tony Iommi, Randy Rhoads y Eddie Van Halen se volvieron leyendas. Pero en el 85, habiendo sobrevivido la embestida de la PMRC, el metal enfrentó otra crisis. Esta autoinfligida y definitivamente más amenazante: el teclado.
When Van Halen's Jump featured keyboards, it was a bit of a surprise, because here Eddie Van Halen is known as one of the best guitarists in the world, and then they get the #1 on the riff that he did on the keyboard.
Cuando Jump de Van Halen encabezó las listas, reavivó un argumento igual de viejo que el mismo metal. ¿Los teclados pertenecen a la música dura? En el 85, Motley Crue avivó la llama, no solo usando un piano, sino alentando el movimiento y creando lo que muchos creen es la primera balada con fuerza.
I actually remember even writing this song. We were sitting in the studio and Tommy just started going ding, 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 ding. And I'm just kind of humming along. It was just a cool ballad. And then Nicky goes home and comes back with these lyrics.
You know I'm a dreamer, but my heart's a gold. I had a runaway high.
I don't know where it came from, but a guy like me, to sit down at the piano and write a beautiful song wouldn't be so strange. You can rock all you want, as loud as you want, as hard as you want, but there's got to be an emotional side to an artist, where he actually plays the piano or has something else to say that's not, you can't be that guy all the time or you'd be fake.
It was the ultimate get your lighters out song. It became a big hit, and it was another very accessible song, and I think that probably 1 million or so people bought Motley Crue's album because of Home Sweet Home, and were quite shocked that the other stuff wasn't all Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home se volvió el éxito más grande de Motley Crue hasta la fecha, y las ventas del álbum Theater of Pain superaron los 4 millones. La industria discográfica se peleaba por capitalizar el lado suave del metal.
And that became the cliche. Every metal band would release the power ballad. Every glam band had it. Give me a glam band, I'll tell you their second single is always a power ballad.
And it was definitely a formula that, people, even in this room, had, use for. Basically, it was you put out a record, the first song's a heavy one. Second one's a ballad. And it worked pretty much every time with every band.
Bands were selling 3 million. Very few bands ever made it to the 4 million. But if you had that big hit, that would send you into the 4 million, and that was usually the ballad. It was almost like you had to put out a power ballad on your album in order for it to do well.
Record companies, they do that all the time. You know, if one's good, 100's better. And you went ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And you had the W bands, you know, the White Lions, the White Snakes, the Wingers, the Warrants. And it got so processed and so refined that it became pablum. Is this love that I'm feeling? Idiots. And then it got even worse, because then it was, hey, I got an idea. Let's unplug. Thanks, Tesla. What's metal about that? So now all the metal bands are playing acoustic songs. Extreme. Mr. Big. Just to be the next to be with you. You. And then it became this whole unspoken thing on MTV, like, if you can't unplug, you're not really a musician. You know what? Go see Tracy Chapman or Paul Simon plug into 2 Marshall stacks and ride the lightning.
A medida que más y más actuaciones anotaban un éxito comercial con baladas de fuerza, se intensificó la presión de las marcas. La fórmula era sencilla. Las bandas de metal estaban vendiendo mucho y se estaban vendiendo.
I hate that song. I had no intention of writing that song. The record was done. The record was called Uncle Tom's Cabin. And Donnie and I called up and said, I don't hear the single. You got to give me a single like Love in an Elevator. I need something like that. So that night I wrote Cherry Pie, sent it to him. He lived with it over the weekend, and all of a sudden, the album's called Cherry Pie. The record's called Cherry Pie. I'm doing cherry pie eating contests. The single's Cherry Pie, right? If I'm lying, I'm dying. And my legacy's cherry pie. Everything about me is cherry pie. I'm a cherry pie guy. I could shoot myself in the head for writing that song.
Heavy, la historia del metal.
I think the decline of Western civilization really opened people's eyes up to metal. After seeing the movie, I was kind of like, man, there are a lot of creeps in Los Angeles, aren't there?
Do you wish, Chris?
When you saw the Chris Holmes part, and he's just guzzling in the pool, and I saw that, and what was funny, all of a sudden became very sad.
Heavy, la historia del metal.